The story begins with Keller Dover, a carpenter living in Pennsylvania, who is hunting with his first son, Ralph. Before his son shoots a deer, Keller prays and it shows that he is a strong believer. Ralph manages to shoot his prey smoothly. On the way home, Keller advises his son to be ready for whatever lies ahead in life, and that he is proud of his son who has reached adulthood. Keller and his wife have 2 children, the first is Ralph and the second is a little girl named Anna. On Thanksgiving, the family celebrates with their neighbor, Franklin Birch's family. Ralph brings a gift of a deer he had hunted. This is a form of closeness between the 2 families. Franklin and his wife have 2 daughters. Their first daughter is the same age as Ralph, while their second daughter, Joy, is the same age as Anna. While the parents are preparing for Thanksgiving, Anna and Joy are playing outside. Their siblings also join to take care of them. Outside, they find an RV car parked. Anna and Joy try to get into the car but they fail. However, their siblings forbid them because the car belongs to someone they don't know. They hear a sound from inside the car so they realize that someone is inside. From inside the car, someone can be seen watching the siblings through the back window. At Franklin's house, in the afternoon the 2 husbands and wives spend time happily together. Then Anna goes to her mother and asks for permission to take Joy to their house. She says that Joy wants to help her find his emergency red whistle that had been missing for 133 days. Anna is a very brave and intelligent child. Just like before, his mother allows them to play outside as long as their 2 older siblings come to look after them. However, the 2 girls immediately leave without taking their 2 siblings. After some time, Keller finds the 2 older siblings still at Franklin's house and cannot find where Anna and Joy are. Keller also thinks the children went straight to his house, but he cannot find anyone there. At Franklin's house, panic kicks in. Ralph then remembered about the RV car outside. They suspect that the car took Anna and Joy. But the car was no longer outside. Keller immediately contacts the police and makes a report about his missing daughter. At a restaurant, a police detective, Loki, spends Thanksgiving dinner alone. He also responds to a call that an RV is suspected of kidnapped children. As he approaches the RV, the driver tries to escape, but fails and crashes into a tree. The police find only an adult male there. That is Alex. At the office, the police try to interrogate him, but he is uncooperative and so quiet. He almost looks like a child. He claims not to know where Anna and Joy are. Loki continues his investigation by visiting Alex's house. He lives alone with his aunt. She tells them that Alex's parents died in an accident when he was 6 years old. Meanwhile, her aunt's husband disappeared 5 years ago. Loki looks around Alex's house and finds nothing odd. Meanwhile, in the RV there is no evidence that Anna and Joy have been there before. Loki then visits the Birch and Dover families. The mothers are very sad because of the loss of their children. Loki promises to find their child. Keller is skeptical of police work because he believes the RV has something to do with their daughter's disappearance. However, the police are unable to find any evidence. Loki says that Alex's intelligence is like a 10-year-old child, so there's no way he could kidnap Anna and Joy without a trace. Loki tries to calm Keller down and make Keller believe in him. Keller pushes him to keep Alex locked up until his daughter is found, but that's against the rules. Loki finally tries to negotiate with his boss and asks to hold Alex a little longer. Next, Loki checks the immoral people in his note, maybe one of them kidnapped Anna and Joy. He goes to a priest's house and finds the priest drunk and falls asleep. In the basement of his house, he is surprised to find a dead body of a man. The priest confesses that he killed the man after the man confessed that he had killed people. He wants to stop him. At the police station, Alex's aunt picks him up to get out of custody. Outside, there are many reporters waiting. Keller also arrives angrily and violently pushes Alex to tell him where his daughter is. Alex says that they didn't cry until I left, something very vague but manages to mess with Keller's mind. This made him even more furious. The police forgive Keller for being vigilant. However, Keller gets emotional again because he thinks he is right and blames the police for releasing Alex. He also tells the police about Alex who said something to him in front of the police station. To confirm this, Loki visits Alex and his aunt at his house. But Alex denies saying anything to Keller. At Keller's house, his wife becomes stressed and cannot sleep. This put pressure on Keller. He then decides to try to find his own daughter seriously. He starts by scouting Alex's house. Alex comes out and sings the song Jingle Bells which Anna had sung earlier. This angers Keller and he decides to kidnap Alex until he talks. The next day, he shows Franklin his parents' old house. Turns out he means to show that he locks Alex in a room there. Franklin is shocked and disapproves of Keller's action, but he finally gives in and lets it go. He also desperately wants his daughter back and has little hope for what Keller is doing. Loki goes to the priest to get information about the person he killed. The priest says that the person was a child kidnapper who started the war against God. At that time, Detective Loki thinks that the information is too general and useless to him. In his old house, Keller again tortures Alex. Franklin just watches him. Alex remained silent but did not fight back either. When he returns home, Franklin finds the residents praying together. There is also Loki. He is suspicious of one man who puts a doll and strokes it strangely. When the man notices Loki's presence, he immediately goes away and runs. Loki chases after him, but the man manages to escape. At home, Franklin sees the news that the police are looking for a man they suspect of kidnapping his daughter. He then tries to persuade Keller to let Alex go, but Keller persists and thinks that Alex and the man are connected. Franklin finally tells his wife, Nancy, about Alex, who is being locked up in the bathroom. She sees Alex's condition and feels sorry for him. She tries to ask Alex about her daughter while crying. She begs Alex to help her. She unties Alex's hand. But Alex tries to run away and attacks her. This infuriated Keller even more. He decides to make a room around the shower, and locks Alex there with no light, with only a few holes for talking. The shower was installed with hot water so that they can torture him with hot or cold water. Franklin finds himself in a dilemma that torturing Alex is not what he wants. But then he remembers his lost daughter and leaves Alex there. He and his wife agree to no longer interfere in whatever Keller is doing. At home, Keller's wife becomes increasingly stressed and starts taking a lot of sedatives. He begins to despair and feels Anna's presence everywhere. She also calls Loki when she finds the bedroom window suddenly open, hoping that Anna was there. While checking the condition of her house, Loki asks where her husband is. Mrs. Donver said that every night her husband comes out to help the police find their child. This makes Loki suspicious of Keller. He then follows him, but he notices his whereabouts. Loki tries to dig up information about his suspicions, but Keller is uncooperative and lies about his reasons for leaving every night. Loki conveys his suspicions that he has something to do with Alex's disappearance, and this infuriates Keller. He is mad because thinking that Loki would prefer to waste time fighting with him than looking for his daughter. At his old house, Keller again tortures Alex with hot water poured over Alex's wounded body. Just then, Keller hears Alex say that he is not Alex. He tries to get Alex to talk more, but instead, he sounds rambling and says that he just wanted to play and they never came. A tired Keller kneels down and prays to God for forgiveness. Just then, he sees Loki coming and panics. He pretends to be asleep. He tells him that he was there to drink and didn't want his wife to see him drunk. They both walk around the house. Keller is worried that Loki will find out where Alex is, but he is lucky because Loki gets a call claiming to have seen the man he was looking for. He then goes to the strange man named Bob Taylor. After a few questions, he tries to fight back. Eventually, Loki handcuffs his hands and searches his home. He hopes that he can find the kidnapped children. However, he only finds boxes containing bloody children's clothes and snakes. In one of the boxes, he finds a book containing pictures of snakes and mazes. The man leaves a lot of questions. At the police station, Loki shows Keller the photos of the clothes he found. Keller recognizes one of Anna's socks covered in blood. Thinking that Anna is dead, he can't bear the sadness. He again blames Loki for wasting time on unnecessary things and allowing it to happen. At home, he assures his eldest son that he will find Anna and bring her back. Ralph defies his father and tries to be realistic, but his father manages to silence him and stay in his denial phase. At the police station, Bob continues to draw a maze and says that it is a map. An emotional Loki forces him to speak, but he says he can't. Other policemen try to separate Loki and Bob, but Bob instead takes the policeman's gun and chooses to commit suicide. The police are again confused because Bob never explained the maze he drew. Meanwhile, Alex finally gives Keller a hint by saying that he will find the kids in the maze. However, he doesn't tell him where the labyrinth was. Keller goes to Alex's house in the hope to find more clues. There, his aunt tells him that she and her husband used to be very religious. But everything changed when her kid died of cancer. They then adopt Alex, but things can't be the same anymore. His aunt says that as a child Alex had an accident, so he is retarded and cannot talk much like most people. At the police station, Loki is annoyed at not being able to solve the case that now seems to be a maze, like the one Bob drew. At his lowest point, he sees a photo of the man killed by the priest and realizes that the man is wearing a necklace that looks like the half maze that Bob drew. At that time, he receives news from his friend that the blood on the children's clothes he found in Bob's house is the blood of pigs. At his home, they find buried children's mannequins. His friend believes that Bob just wants to follow a story from a book and feels responsible for the kidnapped children. However, Loki denies his friend and still thinks that all the cases he handles are related. At home, Keller's wife gets news that Joy has been found and is now in the hospital. An impatient Keller immediately asks Joy, who is still under sedation. Joy remembers her trauma, and remembers that Keller was also there. Keller is confused, but then he remembers the place he has visited recently. He immediately left the hospital. Loki tries to chase after him, but he is too fast. He thinks Loki goes to his old house. But there he finds Alex in a very bad condition. Turns out Keller goes to Alex's house. His aunt realizes that Keller has learned something, and points a gun at him. Keller lost a step to her. He is being told to wear a handcuff and drink water mixed with sedatives. It can make him limp and easy to control. He obeys the psychopathic aunt because he wants so badly to see his daughter. The aunt confessed that Alex was the first child she had kidnapped since she and her husband lost their child. Bob Taylor is also the child he kidnapped. They are both mentally retarded and traumatized because the environment and the constant drinking interfere with their growth. He kidnapped children as a form of war with God, by making parents lose their faith and making them very evil. This is like what happened to Keller. The aunt then told Keller to go into the backyard and into the hole. She says that the kidnapped children were put in the hole so that if he wanted to find Anna he has to go in. But the truth is, she wants him in there so no one will find him. Meanwhile, Loki reaches the kidnapper's house and looks again at the photo of her husband. Now he realizes that he is wearing the maze necklace. He realizes that it is the man the priest had killed. Loki prepares his gun and slowly searches the house. There is the kidnapper who is injecting the anesthetic drugs into Anna. Loki then shoots her and she is killed. He then takes Anna to the hospital. The next day, Anna has recovered and her family thanks Loki for being a hero to them. But they have not gotten word from Keller. They assume that he ran away because feeling guilty about his torture of Alex. The next day, Loki goes to the aunt's house which becomes the crime scene. While they are digging and securing some evidence, Loki has time to look at the old car parked in the yard. Underneath the car, there is a hole in which Keller is inside. The desperate Keller finds Anna's long-lost red emergency whistle and begins to find hope. Do you have any theory, how is the whistle there? Put them in the comment section. For more thrilling movies like this, go like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.